Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 663 of our trek, and time for our Philosophy Friday series. Each Friday, we will ponder some of the basic truths and mysteries of life and how they can impact us in creating our living legacy. We are focusing on how we can live with less fear. We are exploring the trails on our trek of life that will help us to be fearless. Now, this does not imply that we'll reach a point where we will be completely without fear, for that is not only impossible, it is also not wise. There is a time and place for an appropriate level of fear, but most of the fear that we experience on a daily basis has no grounding and can be eliminated as we grow in wisdom, insight, and understanding. So our objective for these next several Fridays is to experience a FearLess Friday on our trek of life. Today is our fourth show on the trek covering Imagine a Life Without Fear. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. We received some unexpected but positive news this week. My primary client that I provide technical support for their SaaS-based software product was acquired by a very large publicly traded company. This should provide the needed stability for the company, but as with all changes such as this, we are never guaranteed what the outcome may be. During changes like this, we could become fearful of the many unknown scenarios, or we could choose to look positively on the situation as a potential for growth and advancement. Most of the time, fear comes down to a mindset. Too many times we allow the seed of fears to germinate in our lives until it grows into a massive, well-rooted tree that is hard to cut down. Last Friday, we asked a haunting question: does God really care? We determined that regardless of our situation, that indeed He does. Today we want to go one step further and explore the ultimate fear. What is the ultimate fear for nearly everyone? Is it a loss of a job, loss of a loved one, or the perceived loss of control of others? Nearly always, the ultimate fear that we have is the fear of death. Aristotle called death the thing that is feared most because it appears to be the end of everything. Jean-Paul Sartre asserted that death removes all meaning from life. And Robert Greene Ingersoll, one of America's most outspoken agnostics, could offer no words of hope even at his brother's funeral. He said, "Life is a narrow veil between cold and barren peaks of two entities. We strive in vain to look beyond the heights." Such sad and depressing language. If death is nothing more than the end of everything between two peaks, which brings no meaning to life, what is the purpose of even trying to die bravely? But think about this. What if these purported wise philosophers missed the mark? Suppose death is different than they thought, less of a curse or the end of all that we know, and more of a passageway between two realms. Not a crisis to be avoided, but simply a corner to be turned. This is what Jesus Christ taught in John chapter 14, verses 1 through 3. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and also trust in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's house. If it were not so, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. Do you believe this promise? If not, maybe it sounds a little bit too good to be true. The disciples certainly had difficulty grasping this concept. It almost sounds like the emails that we received from a Nigerian prince offering a portion of his fortune if we will only be a mediator. Many think the same way for another one of Christ's promises in this familiar verse of John chapter 3, verse 16. For this is how God loved the world. He gave His one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in Him will not perish but have eternal life. Millions have read this verse, but most really don't believe it, or they're just not needy enough. What happens when your marriage falls apart and your spouse says it's over? What happens when the coroner calls unexpectedly? Or your kids rebel, or you suffer a financial collapse? As we looked at during the last couple of Fridays' trek, what happens when the typhoons of life hit you and you're sure that you're going to perish? In times like these, when our fear grows like a raging sea monster seeking to devour us, just like the disciples feared for their life, there are many times when the pressures of life make us feel the same. But God's promise in His Word will quell the raging storm. They become a life vest, and this life vest will comfort you like your favorite blanket. Listen to these words. God loved the world. Everyone who believes in Him will not perish, but have eternal life. These words can keep you company through multiple windswept winters of life. They can warm you like a crackling fire on the coldest days. I urge you to take God's promises to heart. Don't let the monsters of fear and doubt destroy you. Who else but Jesus turned his grave into a changing closet and offers the same for you. Don't allow Christ's offer to pass you by. With God's promise, you have nothing to fear, not even death. The Apostle Paul wrote in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 17, "Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong." So allow your roots to grow down deep into God's love so that you will stand strong on his firm foundation. It is then that you will know that you have life, eternal life, forever. Next Friday, we will finish a short series on Imagine a Life Without Fear as we explore God's solemn promise to fear not. I know that you'll find these insights interesting and profitable in living your rich and satisfying life. Our next track will be Mindshift Monday, where we will help you to live differently by thinking differently. So encourage your friends and family to join us and then come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past daily treks or read the associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. You can also subscribe at iTunes or Google Play so that each day's trek is downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you on Monday.